So I wanted to make this video a day after the news dropped yesterday, because the last time I released something um, where I released a video the day the news dropped, I was so visibly upset I couldn't corral my thoughts, and I ended up repeating myself about 80 million times. Not going to make the same mistake today, but I'm still upset. Now, if I would have woken up on January 14th and someone would have told me that LSU beating Clemson for the national championship was the only football we were going to see in the year of 2020, that there was going to be no fall season, I would have slapped you across the face and said, wake up, you just don't like college football. Yet, look at the world today. I have been preparing myself for this announcement, preparing myself for this day, and it's here. But I didn't prepare enough. I am legitimately upset. What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Big Ten, Pac-12 are not going to have fall football in 2020. They're going to hope to play it in the spring. Now, there are going to be some people out there that are going to say the Big Ten and Pac-12 are ruining it for everyone. And you could make that, or you could make the argument of that, sure. But I'm not going to be here to play the finger pointing game and blame this person and this coach and that player. I'm not going to do that. Because honestly, in my mind, I don't see anyone to blame. I don't. I don't see any one person that you could sit down and say, you were the person who screwed this up. A lot of people, quote unquote, screwed this up. A lot of people did. But I'm not going to be doing the finger pointing game. The Big Ten Pac-12 have not been the only two conferences to cancel fall football. The Mid-American Conference and Mountain West have already had hopes of playing in the spring, and they've canceled before the Big Ten Pac-12 announced it yesterday. So if you're keeping tally at home, that's 4 conferences down. We got 6 left. And I saw something on ESPN yesterday where there was around 900 football games planned for the fall of 2020. Yeah, we're down to about 400. So more than half of the games have been canceled. We're down to around, I think, like either 350 or 400 games. So with the 6 conferences, the American, Conference USA, and the Sun Belt haven't really come out and said anything super official or anything at all. They've been pretty quiet. Except the American Athletic has said we require 72 hours of testing before games and all that. But let me talk about the ACC, SEC, Big 12. They've all said that they're going to look into what caused this Big Ten, Pac-12 decision. Talk about what I think here in a little bit. They're going to keep getting advice from medical experts. But they still plan to play football in the fall. Now, ACC medical experts have said that it's okay to play football in the fall. I believe SEC said it was okay to play football in the fall. Big 12 came out with a statement that said, we're going to release a schedule later this week. And I asked these 3 conferences, actually, I asked the 6 conferences that haven't announced anything yet, how? Question mark. That's it, how? How can you play football? Now, my previous video, I said that each conference should have a bubble. No, I was wrong. Now, maybe if classes move online, maybe we can have some sort of bubble here and there in certain cities, but as of right now, no. Kids are reporting to campus for in-person classes this week, next week, and the week after. That's what's happening. Kids are going to school around the country. And that was the first step. You had to get kids in class. But kids are not going to be in class with 100% safety, 100% certainty that the virus cannot touch them. Because there is no 100% certainty the virus cannot touch you. I could have had it. You could have had it. Anyone could have had it. And we would have never known. We wouldn't have. It's an impossibility unless you get tested for it. Now, I know there's been stuff like negative tests, positive tests, like faulty positive tests, whatever. So let me address the coaches saying that kids are safer in the athletic facilities with the team than they are at their own home. I agree with it and disagree with it. I can't really give you a good reason on why I disagree with it. I just do kind of disagree with it, but I agree with it in this sense. And I think I more so agree with it than disagree with it. But I more so agree with it in the reason that at home, there is no bubble. At home, there's no safety precautions. At home, you're kind of free to do whatever you want and whatever you please. On campus, there are safety precautions. There's testing, especially in the athletic facilities. There's testing. There's quarantining on campus, in campus. So yeah, every campus could have its own little COVID bubble, theoretically. But that makes college football very, very hard. Very, very hard to pull off because there's traveling in between campuses. And if a test gets missed or a player gets sick, then that reflects bad on the conference. So let me talk about the ACC, SEC, Big 12, because if they still do plan to play this fall, and in my mind, some football is definitely better than no football. I am also one of those people that thinks all the conferences should be on the same page, but that's not going to happen. But with these other Power 5 conferences, there was going to be pressure on all conferences if they decided to play football this fall to make sure it gets run as smoothly and as perfectly as possible. Well, we all know that's not going to happen. And these conferences are going to get scrutinized no matter what they decide to do. Big Ten, Pac-12 are getting scrutinized and that, they're ruining it for everyone. A spring season is not going to work. I'll talk about what a spring season means and how it can possibly work later. And then the ACC, SEC, Big 12 are going to get criticized like, you should have done what the other conferences did. It's not safe to play football right now. Both arguments are valid. Both arguments are valid. You could make the argument the Big Ten, Pac-12 are ruining this for everyone. Could make the argument that the ACC, SEC, Big 12 are kind of being stubborn and are just delaying the inevitable. That's what I think. I think they are delaying the inevitable. They just are. And the Pac-12 was supposed to start the latest out of these conferences, tied with the SEC, on the 26th. And they still even thought it was unforeseen to continue with the season. Because that's what the Big Ten was planning on, or they were talking about, was pushing it back to September 26th. And the Pac-12 was already supposed to start on September 26th. And they said, we're not going to delay our season anymore. We're delaying the inevitable. So spring football. So let me talk about spring football here for a minute. This fall is going to be weird. It's going to be weird. I already went back to school for a day. They're kind of orientating kids this week by last names. And since my last name, although I'm not going to give it out, is pretty high up in the alphabet, I went ahead and went on Monday and got orientated, all my classes figured out, and stuff like that. Hence why I'm recording the video at 10:30 my time. But, okay, so again, spring football, right? Spring football. It's going to be weird, and it's going to be hard to pull off, especially if all the conferences decide, which ultimately is what I think is going to happen. When all the conferences decide to go to spring football, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really, really, really hard. There's so many logistics with it. And the first thing is you have to look forward to next season. You have to delay next season because spring football is when you're supposed to have like spring training and spring games, and then you have summer camps. Well, that's all going to be games that count. So you have to push the start of the season, next season, back to maybe October, November. You have to. And maybe shorten the schedules for this season and next season, but we'll see what conferences plan to do there. Let's see. Spring season, eligibility. There's another one. This is going to screw up the NFL draft. The NFL draft, always in April. It just is. It's always in April. And they pulled it off this year. They did a remote draft, and it worked. And it worked. A draft during college football season? Not going to work. Not going to work. It's not. So eligibility becomes a big issue because players that are supposed to go to the draft probably will opt out. And if spring football happens, you're going to see a lot of kids opt out. Justin Fields could be one. Trevor Lawrence could be one, although they have said they want to play, but a spring season could screw up that decision. Micah Parsons has already opted out. You'd have to give eligibility back to everyone. You'd have to. But players like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence would be draft eligible. And in a lot of people's mind, whichever player was going to win the Heisman this year was going to be the number 1 or number 2 overall pick and the first quarterback taken off the board. It was going to happen. Now they might not even play. Justin Fields is a story too. Sat on the bench at Georgia for basically nothing for 1 year. Played a couple games, but nothing meaningful, and they just didn't use him. And then he went to Ohio State, played a year. Played fantastic, by the way. And now he could be a one and done. We could have seen Justin Fields for 1 year. And the wide receiver core for Ohio State was going to be insane this year. Well, still is going to be insane, but was going to be insane for Justin Fields. And he was going to have a legitimate shot to get to the national championship game and win a Heisman, win a title before he went to the NFL. Now, that could have been the only time we've seen Justin Fields in college ball. Justin Fields is a generational talent, highest recruit in Georgia history when they signed him, and then when he transferred to Ohio State, he was the highest rated recruit that they'd ever signed. Pretty good player. Pretty good. And we may have only seen him for that 1 year. So that's upsetting. Then you have to get into early enrollees. Kids that enroll early in the college that have already committed to playing football in 2021. And they enroll early. So they can get into the spring game and they can get into spring practice and summer camps. Are they going to be able to play? Are you going to give them the opportunity to play with this team? Because if so, Ohio State then is an absolute beast. Clemson is also then an absolute beast. Bama is also then an absolute beast. North Carolina even could be an absolute beast if you let the early enrollees play in the spring season. There's a lot to talk about. I could talk all day about what I think about this, what I think about this means, but I think I've summed it up pretty darn well. Now, for this channel, I don't know. I honestly don't know. If the SEC, Big 12, ACC decide to play fall football, I'll cover it. I'll do it. But if they decide to postpone to the spring, which is what I think they should do, and probably maybe will do, I don't know. I don't know what to do. This year has been such a fiasco and a mess, and it just seems to only get worse. It does. It really does seem to only get worse. So, in the meantime, if you guys want me to continue doing stuff for the ACC, SEC, Big 12, since they haven't canceled yet, I'll do it. But honestly, I don't know. This fall is going to be really weird, and the spring is definitely going to be really weird as well if the Big Ten, Pac-12, MAC, Midwest, or Mountain West decide to play. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I might wait a couple days, maybe even a week, to see if the ACC, SEC, Big 12 decide anything. See if they decide to postpone until spring, or if they are really going to continue ahead with this season. I'll wait. I'll give it about a week and see. And if nothing's changed, I'll make some videos for the ACC, SEC, and Big 12. I'll make videos. But until a later date, if that ACC, SEC, Big 12 decide to go to a spring season, I'll make a video on it. But then after that, I don't know what I'll do. So I encourage you guys to leave suggestions for what I can do if we go to an all-spring season down in the comment section below. Again, I'm going to give it a little time to see what the other Power 5 conferences are officially going to do, as anything can change at any minute. But I am going to give it time to see what develops. As of right now, they plan to play fall football. But again, things could change after I upload this video in an hour, in 2 hours, in a day, in a week. Right before the season starts, I could say, nah, we're done. It could change. So again, let me know what you guys think I should do if we end up going to an all-spring season. But until I feel comfortable that fall football really is going to happen, or until everything gets pushed back to spring, again, I'm going to take a break. So in about a week, if nothing's changed, I'll go ahead and I will do some prediction videos on schedules with ACC, SEC, and Big 12, and talk more college football with you guys. In the meantime, though, I did start a second channel where I do professional sports. I've been having a lot of fun with that. Since sad news has been going on recently, I've kind of had to do something else. So I did a second YouTube channel. I talk about professional sports. It's the NFL, NBA, MLB, MLS, and NHL. That is over on my second channel. It's the Tailgate Nate Sports Show. It airs every Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Go check out down there. There's a lot of love on the first video. And yeah, so again, I'm going to reiterate. Let me know what you guys think I should do down in the comment section below. If we end up moving to all spring, and if nothing has changed in about a week's time, I'll start making videos on the ACC, SEC, and Big 12. But until next time, try to remember to play hard, tailgate harder, live your life the best you can. This fall is going to be really, really weird. Again, go check out the Tailgate Nate Sports Show, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.